Iran's assault on Israel insights into the ineffectiveness of U.S. air defenses. The U.S. air defense systems were unsuccessful in countering Tehran's ballistic missiles. Subsequently, it was conceded by U.S. and Israeli officials that the claim of a 99% interception rate was unfounded. During Iran's counterstrike on Israel in mid-April, U.S. air defense systems were ineffective against Tehran's ballistic missiles, as reported by the Israeli military. This has resulted in Israel feeling abandoned by the United States and assuming the primary responsibility in intercepting most of the approximately 300 drones and missiles launched by Iran. Unfounded claim shortly after the conclusion of Iran's counterstrike on Israel on April 13. Tel Aviv bragged about a 99% interception rate and even fabricated a unique name for its joint air defense operation to depict the situation as a triumphant victory for the regime. Unfounded claim shortly after the conclusion of Iran's counterstrike on Israel on April 13. Tel Aviv bragged about a 99% interception rate and even fabricated a unique name for its joint air defense operation to depict the situation as a triumphant victory for the regime. The Iran then launched around a dozen modern ballistic missiles, the majority of which reached their targets, hitting locations that are deemed the most heavily fortified against ballistic missile attacks globally. The air defense operation, involving a multinational coalition of militaries from the U.S., UK, France, Israel, Jordan, reportedly spent over $1 billion combating the 5-hour event. In addition to this, the coalition was given a 72-hour pre-warning, thus enabling all regional air defenses to be prepared and had hours to confront relatively slow-moving targets, which Iran announced had been launched with each new batch. Ignoring the details, the Israelis launched a face-saving attack that seems to have not hit a single target inside Iran and then shifted to undermine the U.S.'s air defense capabilities. Patriot Missile System. As per an Israeli media report, the U.S.'s RIM-161 Standard Missile 3's M3 ship-mounted defense system had a 75% failure rate at intercepting Iranian projectiles, while separate Israeli media reports suggested that the esteemed Patriot Missile System only managed to intercept one Iranian ballistic missile. Bloomberg News recently published an article stating that Israel is now retiring the Patriot missile systems. However, according to all reports on the air defense operation mounted to protect the Israelis, the majority of the intercepted Iranian projectiles were shot down by the U.S., and the most effective method was through the use of fighter jets. Despite the lack of evidence to support their claims, the Israeli military asserts that their fighter jets intercepted most of Iran's cruise missiles, a claim contradicted by sources who spoke to The Intercept, who argued the contrary. Israel has been dissatisfied with the U.S.'s Patriot missile system since the time of the First Gulf War. In 1991, Iraq launched Scud missiles at both Israel and Saudi Arabia. The U.S. and its media claimed that the Patriot missile system intercepted 89% of the Scuds launched at Saudi Arabia and 44% of the warheads aimed at the Israelis. However, months later, the truth began to emerge, and it is now accepted that the performance of the renowned Patriot missile system was that it intercepted between 1 and 0 of all the Scuds launched. Similarly, the Iron Dome air defense system is said to boast an 85% interception rate, at least this is the figure presented, for the interception of Palestinian rockets launched during the 2014 war on Gaza. However, according to a study conducted by Theodore Postel of MIT, the Iron Dome only intercepted around 5% of the projectiles launched during the 2014 war. In reality, despite the propaganda of the military-industrial complex in portraying air defense systems as incredibly effective, if enough munitions are launched at a target, there is no defense system on the planet that will be successful in fully combating a large and concentrated attack.